So welcome back to our latest parkrun video where we take you to an extremely cold parkrun in Sherwood Pines in Nottinghamshire.
Yes, we had our doubts whether this parkrun would actually be on today, as many in the area and across the whole north of England were cancelled. You can see driving over, it reached -9 for part of the journey, and all the red parkruns there were ones that were cancelled. So we just managed to find a green one that was taking place.
Just getting Wallace to look after our jackets here while we run. So rolling, Bob.
So with so many parkruns not taking place across the region, there was a fair chance that Sherwood Pines would be inundated, and so it proved, with 797 runners taking part, which broke their record, which had only been set last week, by a further 300. So big kudos to the core team and all the volunteers for putting this on, getting it off the ground and getting us all around safely for a most enjoyable parkrun morning out. So after my parkrun time trial last week at nearby Clumber Park, it was over to Dawn today to set some parkrun targets for this morning's run.
So what were those targets? Well, we looked at the 5k app last night and we set 3 targets. My C goal was to get above 80% because previously I'd only got 79% in this parkrun. In order to do that, I would have to run 23:55 or quicker. My B target was to get in the top 100 of all time age grading, and to do that I needed 80.4% or better. And the A target, which was going to be a little bit of a stretch target today given the conditions, was to run 22:55 for the female 60 category record.
So there we have it, folks, as we lined up 3 targets for Dawn. How many of these do you think she will achieve today? Let us know in the comments below.
So I made sure that I lined up at the front, and 3, 2, 1, here we go.
3, 2, 1,
So having warmed up with 4 layers of clothing on, we'd cut it down to 3 layers by the time the parkrun had started. As we said earlier, it was extremely cold.
Although we do see a few individuals in shorts, shirt sleeves and without gloves, so wow, well done to them. Yeah, what a beautiful setting for parkrun. You can just see the sun coming through the trees there. This is a 1-lap course, all on forest trails. It is runnable at most times of the year, hence it being on today when most other courses were off. So yeah, really fantastic atmospheric run around Sherwood Pines Parkrun any time of the year. I think this is the 14th occasion we've visited Sherwood Pines Parkrun, and as we said, Dawn was setting out some pretty lofty goals for this morning.
So as you can see here, underfoot is pretty good at this point, although there are some icy patches which you will see as we go around. But to be fair to the parkrun organisers, they did tell us to watch and be careful and probably to wear off-road shoes. However, we did wear road shoes because we've done this course before and we've never needed to wear trail shoes whenever we've done it.
So the first kilometre, as you can see, is on nice wide paths and running at somewhere between 7:30 and 8-minute miling. There was absolutely zero congestion.
So although I was feeling quite strong at this point, I did have extremely achy legs. So we're into marathon training now, and that means no let up. This week has been particularly challenging with the snow and the ice, so we've done a lot of runs on the treadmill, but I've also done a lot of single leg weighted squats, and I can tell you my glutes were letting me know about it this morning. But look at the beauty of this course. That's certainly taken my mind off any aches or pains.
A little bit of history about Sherwood Pines. You may think, with it being called Sherwood and being in Nottinghamshire and with loads of trees, that it is associated with nearby Sherwood Forest and the Robin Hood trails, but you couldn't be further from the truth. This area is originally called Clipston Heath, Heath being an area of bare ground, and in 1925 it was acquired by the Forestry Commission and then planted with loads of trees because during the First World War there had been a shortage of wood. So many of the woods we see around us today, and there are a few near where we live, you might think are ancient woodland, but are actually specifically planted forests and woodland in order to provide wood in case of a further war. I think that's why all the paths are so wide and run in straight lines in Sherwood Pines.
through 1 kilometre in 4:42, which was around 23:40 finish time.
So although the forest as you see it today is a relatively modern construction in the last century, actually the area does have an ancient heritage. There's the remains of Mansfield's 18th century main coach road which led to the Great North Road, and one of the routes we run on is a medieval route from King's Clipstone to Bilsthorpe, so there is plenty of history you're running through in Sherwood Pines, and I shall come back to more of it later. But now in the 2nd kilometre we actually have quite a drag, and reverting to imperial measurements for a while, the top of the drag comes at about the 1 mile point.
Lovely views here, look at that coming through the trees, the sun. Always enjoy the sun on a winter's day. Anyhow, yes, going up this little bit of a hill, I really can feel those squats. Yes, so single leg squats is something that I've included more of in this marathon training block. Anyhow, yes, I know we're going to go up here and soon we're going to get to the top and we'll be able to relax a little bit. But at this moment, I'm really finding it hard to lift up my legs without my glutes pulling on me.
This was Sherwood Pines Parkrun event number 395, and quite apart from this beautiful undulating 1 lap trail course to do, there is also excellent facilities. There's loads of toilets right near the start finish line. There's more than ample parking, as this is Forestry Commission land. Photographer here who produced some excellent photographs today, which we'll show you later. There is also a code that you get from the parkrun, so you get cheaper parking as long as you're out of the area by 11 o'clock, just turning left here at the top of the hill, and then we get a long flat bit of the route. And finally there's a cafe. It does get quite busy at times, but yeah, they serve good food and it's really a complete package to have a wonderful day out at Sherwood Pines Parkrun.
So through 2 kilometres in 4:59, so a little bit slower, but this was an uphill mile, and in all honesty my legs were feeling it, and I was off that course record for the female 60, but as I said at the beginning, it was a stretch goal, and today in these conditions on these legs is possibly a stretch too far.
But it's wow, look at this low winter sun coming through the trees. Absolutely glorious this morning. And quite apart from the obvious running, cycling and walking you can do around here, there are often big events put on at Sherwood Pines Parkrun. In fact, this very day we were at the parkrun, there was some sort of marathon going on. I think it was called, was it Rasselhock, something like that. I'll put it up on the screen for you. There's also Go Ape, Robin Hood hideouts, raised walkways, and I believe there was a Beautiful South concert here the other year. So plenty going on at Sherwood Pines Park apart from the parkrun.
I'm actually loving this run. The views are absolutely stunning. It's really cold, and do you know what? I don't think at any point I actually felt really warm, even though I was wearing 3 layers. My feet were actually quite cold, my toes, and so was my fingers. But I was really enjoying it, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter what the time was going to be. I was just going to run as hard as I could, and I think I was round about tempo effort. Couldn't really go much faster, but the conditions weren't really allowing me to go much faster, so yeah, why not just enjoy it.
And here's some footage I took of Dawn enjoying it. You can see it's a little bit icy in places. She goes one way, I go the other way around this icy puddle. But because the paths are so wide, you were never really in any danger in this park, and I don't think I saw or heard of anybody slipping. I hope I'm right on that. Even though there's 1 or 2 dicey areas as we get towards the bottom of a hill later on, everybody seems to be having a fantastic time here.
So through the 3rd kilometre in 4:38, so yes, I'm running quite consistently here. I'd say it's a pretty even effort if I'm truthful.
Yeah, and a little bit at the end of this part of the trail, we do turn left and there is quite a bit of a downhill. I think it goes on about 1/4 mile, but still no problems, even though it was a bit frosty today.
Ooh, now we're on to my favourite part of the course. This is the downhill section, and I have to say I always love this bit of the course. I was watching my foot in on here though, because I was a bit worried that there might be a bit of ice, and I certainly didn't want to take any chances and end up on my backside. So yes, I was watching myself going down here, but trying to relax and go in or flow in down the hill. Do you know what? I think they've actually laid a new surface down, because I remember it being a little bit more lumpy bumpy with a few sort of stones, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, it just seemed quite smooth on this occasion, and I was really enjoying this section of the course.
Yes, we have been briefed beforehand that there were some potential ice patches on the course, and this was one of them on the downhill, but nothing to worry about as long as you were careful.
So yeah, I think this is the thickest bit of frost or snow on the course. It's been quite a challenging week really, with the amount of snow and ice that we've had in the local area. But I have to say, it's like a winter wonderland, and it really is quite pretty, although you have to be careful because it can be quite lethal.
But despite that, as Dawn said earlier, both wearing road shoes, Puma Deviate Nitro Elite, experiencing absolutely no problems completing this parkrun safely.
Despite the downhill, my 4th kilometre was 4:41. Yes, because there was actually a little bit of a drag now where we're going back up, and then we just got 1 kilometre to go.
It grew and grew, and soldiers from all over the country were based at Clipston Camp for their basic training, and there are some trenches in Sherwood Pines now where you can visit, and recreation of some of the training that the soldiers had here, so very evocative.
So into the final kilometre now, and although I'm working, I'm not actually at max. In fact, I can't get my legs to go at max, so I would say that I'm running at a good tempo effort here. I'm feeling strong, and I know I can keep this effort going to the finish, and I could pick it up if the underfoot was a little bit better. So I'm waiting for the ice to clear a little bit and hoping that I can just give a final surge to the end, and then we'll have to see, what did I achieve? Did I achieve any of those 3 goals that I set at the beginning of this parkrun? So this was my 558th parkrun today, and I think it was, as John said at the beginning, it was our 14th time of coming to Sherwood. I always love running here, if I'm truthful. I always love running through the woods, the trees, nature around me. It just is a really lovely place to run, and if I'm absolutely truthful, time isn't really that important. Yes, I'm pushing for a time or a target, but at the end of the day, it's not that important, but I will keep pushing till the end just to see what I do get. So we're just about to have a little turn right, and there's just a straight then to the finish. And as I said earlier, I like to keep something for the end. We're off the ice, and now I'm going to go and surge up this final straight. You can see me here pushing on, and I think I hit a pace of 6:13, which is very good for me. And I finished really strongly, and I'm about to tell you what I achieved. Coming to the finish now in 3, 2, 1, and the final time was 23:42. So that was under a minute off the female 60 course record, so I may have to return for that one. So what did I achieve? Did I get that 80% age grading, and did I make it into the top 100 all-time age grading list?
And the answer is yes and yes. Dawn's 80.73 slots her in at 92nd now in the all-time Hall of Fame, and as a bonus she had the top age grading of anybody at Sherwood Pines Parkrun today.
So despite me saying times aren't important, that final surge was worth it.
So parkrun, time trial, race, or just a lovely place to be with friends. It's all three. It's whatever you want it to be. That's the beauty of parkrun. And talking of numbers, as I said earlier, Sherwood Pines smashed its attendance record today with 797, an increase of around 300 on the previous record. So well done all the volunteers for managing this superbly.
And nice to bump into a few well-established park runners from our local area who also made it to Sherwood Pines this morning.
I was saying in parkrun, don't forget your barcode. At Sherwood Pines, don't forget your QR code either, because instead of paying £7 that it would have cost us to stay in the park as long as we did, it only costs us £2.
So yes, a fantastic morning at Sherwood Pines. We really enjoyed it, and we hope you've enjoyed it too, being on this parkrun course with us and seeing what Sherwood Pines is like. If you have liked this video, then please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, then of course we'd love you to do so. Until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.